I'm so tired of seemingly every mainstream movie being lackluster as hell. I'm not cynical by nature, but the majority of the films coming to cinemas these days leave me extremely disappointed too often, and it seems even the ones that are solid have so much wasted potential and missed opportunities and are just lazy. Disney is most certainly one of the biggest culprits, and what better way to exemplify that than with their big celebratory 100th anniversary film Wish, which should have been the ultimate commemoration of the company's legacy and a culmination of 100 years of imaginative, magical, groundbreaking storytelling, but it ended up being a dud. It legitimately felt like AI. I disliked this thing even more than I expected to, and my hopes weren't very high to begin with based on the public response. Where do I even begin? I guess I'll start with the animation. While I do respect that it isn't the same exact copy and paste 3D CGI animation style Disney has been using for the past decade, and they at least attempted to do something interesting with the visuals, incorporating some traditional 2D elements and watercolor backgrounds into the 3D style, it doesn't work for me, ultimately. It looks very wonky and unappealing, and maybe that wouldn't have been the case if they didn't try so hard to keep the designs within that frozen, tangled Moana style. It kind of looks like traditional animation attempting to emulate CG animation, and it doesn't look right. Perhaps a different art style would have had greater results with this blending of traditional and contemporary elements, but I think the film should have just been traditionally animated. It was the perfect opportunity to bring back this classical style of animation that has been abandoned in this modern era, which not only gives off the impression that that style of animation is outdated and doesn't hold any value, and that's obviously not the case, it's just a different style, and I personally think it's much more appealing and timeless. But by Disney not releasing any more traditionally animated films, they're also making their entire catalog of traditionally animated movies seem too outdated to revisit, and therefore are shooting themselves in the foot, because if new generations don't watch the films or know the characters that the company was built on, how do they expect to profit from them? Okay, I know I shouldn't be encouraging Disney to do capitalism better, but I do want some respect for those beautiful pieces of art from the past 100 years. Sleeping Beauty is hands down Disney's most visually stunning film, and it came out in 1959, so yeah, bring back traditional animation. Okay, moving on to the music. Pop musician Julia Michaels did the music for Wish, and that was a massive misstep. Not only are the songs far too poppy and contemporary for what the film is trying to achieve, and they really should have leaned into a more classical sound with an enchanting, sweeping orchestra and choir, but the songs are also so flat and forgettable. They lack the timeless magic that defined our favorite Disney classics and fail to captivate on either an emotional or entertainment level. Equally lackluster and disappointing is the actual story of the film. The narrative is one that seemingly is made up of a bunch of ideas that were sloppily and thoughtlessly strung together without the care to take the viewer on a journey or at least provide some sort of emotional experience. It's just stuff happening that I don't care about, and lots of side characters, and plenty of Disney Easter eggs thrown in, though I question if the filmmakers are even familiar with the classic Disney films, because in addition to the lack of traditional Disney magic, the execution of all the homages are forced and messy. Isn't the wishing star supposed to be the same one from Pinocchio and Princess and the Frog and such? But the wishing star in Pinocchio was the blue fairy, so that's not adding up. And there was an initial concept in early development of the film where the star was a shapeshifter that had a human form, and apparently he had a romance with Asha, and I kinda wish, pun intended, they utilized that idea, because This is supposed to be the culmination of all things Disney. There should be some romance, because romance was very prominent within the history of Disney. Disney movies seemingly have been treating romance as a bad thing lately, and I am glad we have a few independent Disney princesses with no love interests, but they don't all need to be without a partner. This also could have been an opportunity to have the first gay Disney princess. I'm just saying, it's 2024. If people have a problem with that at this point, it's on them and they can be left to their own devices. Anyway, speaking of the lead Disney princess, she's boring. She has nothing to offer that the other princesses don't already provide other than box braids and an Afro-Latina heritage, which is nice. Maybe she would have been more likable in a better movie, but I just don't care for her. Or any of the other characters. You know what? I'm actually sick of talking about this movie, and I'm not enjoying talking about this movie anymore, and I love talking about movies in detail. I just can't bring myself to do it any longer with this one. It's not fun, and I usually have fun making these videos. Ugh, it's just... I think you get the point. I've covered what I've needed to cover. I really gotta go. I'm just done. Hopefully Disney has learned their lesson from this disastrous past year, which was supposed to be the biggest year of the company's history, their 100th anniversary, and it did not go the way they had anticipated. Hopefully there's course correction, and they know where to apply that course correction and not just assuming that it's because they're being more inclusive or whatever. Just get more imaginative, have better storytelling, have more integrity, be more creative, Okay, that's all I have to say for today. Yeah.